Yeah, let's start off with NJCD1. I remember when I was giving my prediction for this, I knew that Norcross would win. I think you knew it too. I think we've talked about Donald Norcross and his power over the political system. But we thought maybe, maybe that populist vote would get out there and support Claire Gustafson. Nope, it didn't come out this time. It didn't come out. There are three counties in this district: Burlington County, Camden County, and Gloucester County. All counties where, you know, Donald Norcross won by a comfortable margin. And it's not even that, it's not even the fact that Claire Gustafson made any inroads at all compared to the 2020 general election. Norcross actually did better in Camden this time around. He did better than in Gloucester County. And he did an equal amount in Burlington. There was no real gain in margin in Burlington County, but there was a little gain, half a point to the Republican side. Um, but I think, this will be a recurring theme throughout this, you know, and it really depends on the district. Ed Durr ran this district in 2021, still off the coattails of Trump running in 2020. I believe that Gustafson did better in 2020 due to Trump, you know. Um, Even though it's not that big of a shift, you look at 2020. This is 2020, 2 years ago. Norcross won by approximately 25 points. This time around, he won by 27 points. He clearly increased his advantage, and it shows that Trump does play a role in helping the candidates down ballot.
Yeah, people, I think, during the presidential elections as well, more turnout to vote than the midterms, even though that they should.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, uh, with Ed Durr down there, we predicted that he would do as he does, help Claire, and he did. And I still see him posting today. He's getting ready for the 2023 fight, so it's not like they're not doing anything. They're trying.
Yes.
And maybe the redistricting, because I mean, it would take us a little bit more work to do, and maybe we can revisit it in a later episode. But the redistricting, I wonder how much that affected, because you said that Norcross increased his voter toll. So maybe it was the redistricting. Maybe it's just he's still increasing his popularity. But that's CD1.
Yeah, not much to say besides the fact that, Norcross is that political juggernaut, and you're not going to have someone to beat him. Um, what's the funny thing? Um, People they like to talk about supposed presidential candidates. We've never had. Imagine if Donald Norcross ran for a big seat in New Jersey. You know, Do you think that he can run for Senate one day, particularly in 2024, to maybe test Menendez?
So the very little I know about Donald Norcross is that like their family isn't the New Jersey Democrat Party. So it's like the New Jersey Democrat Party, and then there's the Norcross family, the Sweeney, uh, like caucus. So it's not necessarily that they're establishment, um, but they are their own like mob, their own county bosses and stuff like that. The Patricia Klein there, I remember she was on Mike Crispy and um, Rizzo, their telethon. So hopefully she runs in 2023. But Donald Norcross for a Senate candidate, I think that would probably be very smart of the Democrats to do. But I suspect that they want someone who's actually further left. Donald Norcross is an obvious fake leftist. They know that he's not serious. He's like a Tom Malininsky, and I suspect that's why probably Tom Malininsky didn't come off as a progressive. He's a capitalist, he's not a liberal. He's not a socialist. Same thing with Donald Norcross. He's I believe, an electrician, a union representative electrician. He probably makes a boatload of money off of the stock markets. He's a capitalist. So
And that's that with NJCD1. Yeah, I just asked that about North Cross so that people understand that each Democratic Party, based off a county and based off a family, is really different in the state of New Jersey. You do have your internal battles here and there. And, Ryan does a great job in doing that because he's actually watched and he's actually seen the politics on the state and the county and the local level. And he really understands that. So just great to have someone with such political knowledge of the state. We're moving on now to NJCD2, our good old friend Jeff Van Drew. So, Jeff Van Drew, um, he actually gained a lot of counties here due to redistricting. Got a nice victory over Tim Alexander, almost 20 points. Huh.
Damn.
And it's funny because they actually have Jeff Van Drew as a potential vice presidential candidate for the Republican Party.
Yeah, I could see that.
Do you think that he can? Do you
Well,
think that
because I would suspect that Donald Trump be the Republican candidate, that Donald Trump would want, in a pejorative term, a rubber stamp Republican, someone who's just going to say yes, someone who is so loyal, a yes man. And I think that's what his idea was towards Dr. Oz. I heard he blamed it on
Melania?
his wife, but I think that's what was the plan from the beginning. It was going to be someone in the Senate who was going to listen to him. But I think that's what Jeff Van Drew I think has earned more than anybody else in the country. The lapdog. I'm sorry for speaking so illy, but and look how much popularity he's gotten. This guy's a
Yes,
30 plus year elected Democrat in New Jersey, and look at the popularity as a Republican. So
exactly.
yeah, I agree. That would probably be a smart pick.
And don't forget, like you're mentioning 30 in terms of how many years he's been in politics. Look at his margins. Look at his margins. In Cape May County, he trended the county by 14 points. 14 points in Cape May County trending versus the 2020 presidential vote. Cumberland County, which was a D+6 Biden victory, D+6, he wins it by 13 points, a 19-point shift towards Jeff Van Drew. And another big one, Salem County, 14 points more Republican in Salem County. Trump won it by 13. Van Drew decided to win it by 26. So this is huge. He gained in every single county he was a part of compared to the 2020 presidential election. And this district shows, this district especially, there was that red wave. This is what we were expecting on election night. This is what we were expecting. Like this, these
Mm-hmm.
margins, these increases, these trends. A 20-point victory in a race that, normally it's less than 10, you know. But
And this is why you and I will hear to the end of our days the death of us from those in South Jersey that it's down red,
mhm,
conservative South Jersey because of these margins. And, I mean, give it to him, but it's a Democrat. But I give it to him because it's a MAGA Trump guy. It's confusing, but that's politics.
it is politics. Politics is very confusing, but at the end of the day, it's all the analysis and the stats that go into it, you know. It's all
So,
the
Tim,
analysis and stats.
just to finish up, Tim Alexander, the Democrats tried to say that, like, for instance, Tim Alexander would have been a plant by Donald Norcross, a plant by Steve Sweeney, a plant by one of Phil Murphy himself, rather than an actual representative. They think of it that way. Phil Murphy planted Tim Alexander with Nancy Pelosi and all them, rather than someone from the actual community of CD2 taking on Jeff Van Drew. That's I think what happened, and that's a shame. But Jeff Van Drew, he's the winner there.
Jeff Van Drew is the winner of the second district. So We've seen one Democrat win by a 27-point margin. We've seen Van Drew win by a 20-point margin. But now we're going to move things on to a district where people may have thought that would have been something tight, and that is NJCD3, where we had Andy Kim, the Democrat, against Bob Healy, the Republican, who did manage to defeat. He managed to
Ian
defeat
Smith.
Ian Smith in the primary. Yes. Um,
So is this considered a blowout or is this close? So that's a six. No, that's a 5, 9 point margin.
11.2.
Oh shit! Because the
That's at
other,
the end of
yeah,
the day. At the end of the day, they would classify that as a safe Democrat. At the end of the day, that's classified as safe Democrat.
I see, I see.
Knowing the type of candidate Bob Healy is with the policies that he had, I think this is underwhelming by him. Um, he's not the he's not the type of per se socially conservative, type of guy. He's not the MAGA Republican as so many people would talk about. He's not so he's not this anti-establishment guy. He's more, I don't know if you would consider it, more pro-establishment, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is clearly underwhelming. It's a slap to the GOP establishment for sure. I don't know if Ian Smith, his loss played a role in this. Maybe it did, but people didn't go out. People didn't come out to vote clearly, evidently for this. Um, it's 25,000 vote loss. I don't know. Is it a blowout? 11 points in a district that should have been maybe five.
Well, I'd say that the people who were going to vote Republican, regardless of who the candidate was, that's the 99,000 right there. Those who were with Ian Smith, there's probably a small margin, just because everyone else held their nose, even when the other races that were going to come up to more north, people hold their nose and voted Republican and was able to flip one that we'll get to. But for here, I think the MSNBC left liberal types even did a Netflix special on this and added Andy Kim in it, where that district might be blue for a while because they paired it up with a district in Virginia, I think, as well as Maryland, where a lot of people moved into this area as of recent, and the
Mm-hmm.
voting trends are just a certain way. So it's showing it that Andy Kim, someone who at first got reelected, but all the Democrats were upset in 2020 that they reelected someone who promised he would not vote for Nancy Pelosi. What did he do? He voted for Nancy Pelosi. What do Democrats do in 2022? Reelect him. So big stronghold there.
Well, it shows that he's building his own political name, and he's holding it, and he's also showing his political power in the district. If you can do something like basically the opposite that you campaigned on, and you still win, and this time by a hefty margin of more than 10 points, you're doing something right.
And
Um,
and real quick, I'm gonna take my hat off on this one because the NJGOP screwed up. The NRCC screwed up. Andy Kim is someone who did the most stupid public media responses throughout the COVID pandemic. He has the worst gaffes. I can't believe that they didn't use stuff that he's done in the last year against them. I didn't see it.
so looking at these trends, you could clearly see that Healy couldn't really eat into anything in Burlington County, which is where most of the vote came in. He only made it less by 1.5 points in Burlington County, but that's not enough. He did expand his lead in Monmouth County, 7 points more Republican than in 2020. But Mercer County, and I think that's where you're talking about, you know, um, the Trenton area,
Yeah, Trenton.
Mercer County. 2020 was D plus 23.
Uh,
Mercer County was 29 points more Democrat this time around. Didn't do enough. Didn't do a lot. Didn't do a lot, but That's still interesting to consider.
Mm-hmm.
And there was
It
such
is.
a huge, huge difference. But he wasn't able to crack it in Burlington County. Um, I'd expect better there, but it is what it is from Healy.
Next one is Congressional District 4, South Jersey, right?
Yep. Well, yeah, we're still in South Jersey at the time. Yep.
Conservative red South Jersey.
Yeah, looking very red. Ocean County and Monmouth County. And you look at this and you say, remember, I've been seeing this libertarian guy on Twitter all the time, but got a nice 1,800 votes, something
There
to
you
keep him
go, buddy.
happy. But the real man that we're going to talk about here is Chris Smith, the establishment pick. Um, he beat he beat Mike Crispy, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Crispy, and
Yeah, primary. Yep.
in the primary, um, unfortunately. And Chris Smith decided to win by 90,000 votes.
Whoa.
90,000 in his general election. And he won by a total of 36 points. That is, these are Democrat margins in the districts that we're going to go on later with Watson Coleman.
In the
But
north,
Chris
right?
Smith, yep, Chris Smith had a great night. Really expanding his margins in Ocean County, expanded them by 12 compared to President Trump in 2020, and expanded by 25 compared to Trump in 2020 in Monmouth County. And, when I was growing up, I always thought, when I would watch Christie's elections, Chris Christie, I was like, oh, New Jersey's red all the time. This is how it should always be. And then you see Murphy win in 2017 by such crazy margins that you never think the state can go red ever again.
True.
But these are good margins by Chris Smith. Clearly, he's that voice that Democrats like to hear. Um, he had to have won a lot cross voting for sure, um, because he has shown that he is anti he is anti-Trump, and simple as that. You're going to gain more votes at the end of the day because you have Republicans that always vote for Republicans, and then you have your Democrats that come in too.
True. I didn't even really. I was going to ask you why
Mm-hmm.
you think that he got more votes than Jeff Andrew, but that's probably the reason there that he doesn't support Trump and Jeff Andrew does. Just those two things because they're basically the same in the end.
Mm-hmm. I
And
think
yeah,
I think this part of the state, this part of the state, you still have your rich people that live in these areas, especially in Monmouth County. You have a lot of nice beach houses there. Um, those are some rich areas. Those are some very rich areas that Chris Smith has in his district. And these are people that, at the end of the day, they're not so fond of Trump. And they like to have a reassuring voice in Chris Smith that, we don't like Trump. You're going to show your opposition to him. We'll support you. Meanwhile, in South Jersey, where South Jersey, for example, like in Cumberland County or those other counties that have that, white working class, they're going to be more apt to someone that supports President Trump. And even though Van Drew hasn't, shown the policy that he is a true MAGA candidate, right? He's shown that he will support Trump. He is a yes vote for Trump, and that's something that Chris Smith doesn't have compared to his district.
that's true. That's true that it's demographic and geographical, I guess, because what don't they like call the people that live in this district like snowbirds? It's people with two homes, that they
Uh,
can. And then as opposed to where you said just to the left, I guess more of the working class, more of a different population, right?
yeah, somewhere around this area than
Right,
here.
and that's where I found people who actually support Chris Smith and they don't want him primaried. Was right where you circled around over there. They kind of have a libertarian vibe to them.
Mm-hmm.
A if anybody who knows libertarian ideology, it's more of a capital L libertarian than lowercase, and they keep that control in the Republican Party where Chris Smith is. It's true.
Yeah, but good night from Chris Smith, you know, shows that he can win. And we'll see if he can maybe take on the primary in 2024, which will be a clearly more difficult election where primary candidates will be much more prepared. People underestimated his political power in the district, and we'll see what his opponents will do in that primary.
I think that's a good point that people underestimated his political power, and if we have gentlemen such as Dan Cruz running for Senate, not no true real Republican candidate taking on Senate that has any power, you're looking towards anybody at this point. But yeah, that's CD4, CD5, North Jersey. Let's go.
CD5, North Jersey. Yep, our first North Jersey district. And you know what? I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad, you know. Kind of sad that Pallotta couldn't do it because good old Bergen County, you know,
Damn.
they decided to ruin the show. They decided to ruin the night for our good old friend Frank up there in CD5. But Josh Gottheimer showing, you know, he's appealing to those Republicans in Bergen County, something that Frank Pallotta can't do at the moment. Um, Josh Gottheimer is that moderate, anti-Trump guy. And those voters in Bergen County, we know who lives in that area. This is Mawa. These are very, very rich areas. They're not so fond of Trump. I'll say that. And Pallotta, he has shown that he has supported Trump time in and time out. But at the end of the day, it doesn't help him. It doesn't help him in CD5, especially in Bergen County. Helps him in Sussex, helps him in Passaic, doesn't help him in Bergen.
I don't even think the number of votes he would have gotten from Warren County, which was redistricted out, I don't even think that would have been enough to put him over.
Nope, wouldn't have. And he was at a tighter margin then. But this is 10 points, and this district is going away. It is going away, unfortunately. And the funny thing is that he had better margins this time around than Trump had in 2020. You know, and he got little. This is not even red wave. This was red ripple, just a little drizzle. That's it.
The
Because look how many votes came in Bergen, 207,000.
Yeah,
You know,
it's because in Bergen they pushed it really hard. The Democrats, it was in this district that the Democrats ran their campaigns, spent a lot of money, saying Pallotta was this really crazy Marjorie Taylor Greene Trump backed candidate pushing the right wing, and he really wasn't so outlandish. He was very
oh,
rational and very
yes,
diplomatic. Although he was a Trump supporter and was not afraid to tell anybody that and all that stuff, but they won, they did it, as opposed to other states where I guess sometimes it backfired. It didn't backfire here. Bergen County voted for Gottheimer again, just because of Trump. That's what I think.
and yeah, I think yeah. At the end of the day, it's because of Trump. Trump is the question for all these congressional districts. When I look at it, right, and this is the advice at the end of the day that I give to Pallotta because this is his second time running, right?
Hmm.
Second time running or third time?
No, it's his second.
Second, okay. Second time running. We know what he wants. We know what he is capable of. I think it's time now to, you know, I think it's time to like change up the campaign a bit because I don't think he can win this district. I don't
True.
think he can win this district, you know. I think he has to change the campaign a little bit, campaign on a little different issues. Um, because at the end of the day, he can't win with the fact of saying, I support Trump in this district. We know what he wants. And because we know what he wants, I would be fine with him running a Chris Smith type race just to win, if you know what I mean.
Right, right, right. Not to endorse, be evasive with your wording, right? Stuff like that. Um, his best bet, in my opinion, might be to link up with them New York City or Young Republicans over there and help him. Because if Bergen's where it's at, his only loss, but maybe because they have a lot of better media, nationwide attention too. Maybe he can get some more fundraising, whatever it need be. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. This part of Bergen County, especially, that's a very rich part. I don't
yeah,
think anyone can help you win that, especially if you have. And I'm not saying I think Frank is a wonderful candidate. I think he's a great candidate. He's shown that he can beat the establishment quite easily in two primaries already, year in and year out. But it's too difficult in Bergen County. There's too much opposition. The GOP establishment in Bergen County despises him, and they're not any help. If they supported him, if they endorsed him from day one, instead of running candidates against him and on purposely tainting his name, he would do better for sure. But I don't think anything can help Frank in Bergen County at this point. Um,
touche.
and it's fortunate. It's unfortunate. Maybe he can move to Warren County, and run against Kane Jr. in 2024. But
Let's go.
it would be an interesting race, that one, for sure.
No, he did a great job. Yeah, but came short twice.
Yeah, only this time that margin is widening, and it's not a good sign for the future. This is this is probably one of the craziest carved out districts, not gonna
As gerrymandered as
lie.
fuck.
Frank Pallone and Sue Kiley. Sue Kiley, she's a Monmouth County commissioner, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh really?
Yeah, and she barely lost in Monmouth County by 4 percentage points. That sucks. Um, I'm not surprised by the margin, but I thought it would be closer. What are your thoughts?
Well, she got the support from the NJGOP establishment. Maybe that is why it was kind of close because they were able to get those independents or cross the line voters to vote for her. And like you just said, I didn't know, but she is a former office holder, so people looking at Frank Pallone, a veteran, and a politician, and then Sue Kiley, someone who's also served, a veteran as well, they would maybe feel more comfortable voting for her. But yeah, that looks very gerrymandered, a very gerrymandered district. And Frank Pallone, I know, is someone who's been with like the Moms Demand Action, the gun lobby. So he's a big political name.
I think he's not going to. I don't think he's going to lose his district this
So, so
decade. Actually,
so I suppose that's Rutgers, right? That's all of Rutgers. That's who's voting these Democrats in this district.
I guess. Yeah, I believe that's Rutgers right there. Yep.
And I bet you a lot of people who go to Rutgers, especially the main campus right there, want to vote in that district right there rather than their home district for some reason. I don't know. I always wanted to vote back home, but
Different mentality. Different mentality. I feel like Democrats, like especially those that are younger, they have that more mentality. They don't have the familial. They don't have that reality of family at home. Their family is more like where they are at the moment.
communal. Yeah.
That's what you'll see the difference between Republicans and Democrats for sure.
Well,
But
he's got that locked down.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Really nothing that Sue Kiley could have
So
done.
the
Little,
Monmouth right there, huh? So Monmouth is Sheriff Golden, Sean Golden, and
yes.
I know Mike Crispy has been taken on Monmouth County because in Manchester specifically, there's a mayor race that they're not really they weren't supporting so well. I wonder how that went out, but that's maybe why Monmouth is +4 for him rather than how Middlesex is so much higher because there's a pushback in Monmouth. But it's interesting how they got +4.
Yeah, it's only +4 in Monmouth, but I do believe that's because Kylie is a Monmouth County commissioner, you know.
That makes sense.
That's the only thing that makes sense. But really, this is a regular result. This is regular
Hmm.
results for this district. It's like there was nothing happening in this district. No blue
Up to
wave, no red
par.
wave, no campaign. People just copied the same votes and just ran with it, you know.
Same people voting, same year.
Yep. It's as if the time never moved, and that's it. That's CD6. Really nothing much to say about it besides, another congrats to Frank Pallone for, winning by, what is that, 28,000 votes.
I went up to him once and tried to ask him a question, and it was basically like how you would expect Joe Biden would act. Like he looked like he was lost, and I just
Because
like
I feel
felt,
like he hasn't been tested, nor does
right?
he have to be tested. He's in
Yeah.
such, and that's why competitive districts are important because that's where the best candidates come out
So
from
why
the
the heck did
most
they?
competitive
That's
districts.
crazy. Like I guess it's smart to run a well-established candidate like that, but at the same time, like in the last 5 years, I haven't seen her at all anywhere doing anything for anyone. But she's probably been
Who,
working. She's
who's
probably been
too
working.
Kylie?
Yeah, she's probably been working at the doing her job. She's
Oh
just not a
yeah,
politician.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Nah, whatever.
Done race.
It's this one. This is the one.
This is the one. This is the one that you gotta understand. I think we got the most votes here, maybe
So
actually.
before you go into it, do you think Rizzo would have lost to Malininsky? Probably. Huh?
It's tough. It's tough
Yeah,
because
it's hard to tell. Yep.
it's very hard to tell. And we'll look at the trends that occurred compared to 2020. But it really depends how Kane did in Warren County. I think that's one of the keys. He Look at that, 14,500 votes to Malinowski compared to 23,000 votes for Kane Jr. in Warren County. What? How are you giving him more than 10,000 votes in that county? That should be a stronghold, man. 80% of the vote. You
I'm gonna
see? Look at that.
I'm gonna play spoiler here and say that Tom Kane Jr. and I'll do the research later, but Tom Kane Jr. probably received the most, probably him and CD3 Bob Healy received the most vote by mail for Republicans in the entire state.
That's your
I'm
that's your
calling that
prediction.
now. Yep, and I'll do a research on that. But how did it look in county wise and stuff?
Well, county wise, he won Sussex 62 to 38. He won Warren 62 to 38. He won 155 to 45. Took a nice victory in Morris 56 to 44. Barely won in Somerset. That's Jack Chitterelli land. 50.7 to 49.3. And then he lost by 20 in Union County. So these were all tight counties all around, all together, you know.
Yeah, and I remember on Twitter I was going back and forth with the Ribovich Institute guy. The guy has his own center, I think, at Rutgers. But he was saying that Malininsky's going to win because they redistricted some Union County things. I'm like, no way, dude. Kane's going to win because they redistricted Republican voting districts into CD7. And it turns out that it looks like Kane received the majority
It
in
also
in
looks
the
like that
counties.
you're more intelligent than the Rebovich Institute guy.
Bada bing.
Look at these margins.
And
He really outperformed. He
this
did
one in
much, much better.
2020, yeah, how it votes compared to 2020. 2020 was right there. He was right there to flip it, but he didn't come through with it. And then the redistricting happened, and well, there you go. He's got enough votes for it after the redistricting. Had he not had that redistricting, I don't know. I have no idea. But
But look at these margins now compared to 2020. He clearly gained it. He gained it. all of these counties, which shows that, there was a trend to the Republican side in all these districts, all these counties. There was a trend to the Republican side. Um,
They
Evident
would.
there was a trend.
You know how they think though. You know how the NJGOP establishment thinks. They straight up agree with Cincinnatus here as he tells us that CD5 Pallotta, 2 districts before the one we're talking about right now, is inwinnable because of Bergen, and that's why they redistricted. They had it correct beforehand, and then in 2010 they probably redistricted improperly, and now they got it back to the right way. So this is now going to be a Republican stronghold for a decade until they redistrict it again.
And you just mentioned that, and I just thought of something. They took away Warren County and that southern part of Sussex County, and we'll also get to Billy's district later, but they took away some Republican areas that Pallotta had in his district, plus these 2 counties over here in Sussex and Warren, and took them out of CD5 and put them in CD7 and in Billy's district, basically making Pallotta's district less red.
Right.
He can't win. He can't win. He didn't do bad in Bergen.
Who did he
He
piss off?
pissed off the establishment. That's what it is.
Yeah, might yeah. Either that or like they just are really ruthless and throw their own kin out to the coyotes.
Because the fact that they would like do this and just give up, Democrats giving up Malinowski, they could have won both districts. You know,
Mm.
Imagine they didn't put Warren in Sussex. Different race,
I thought that was
different
pretty
race.
wild that they took a whole county and said, "Now we want these Republicans. We want Warren County." And then someone on the outside looking in, let's say someone from Bergen County or somewhere else that doesn't know politics, like that's a whole Republican county you're taking. Like,
Exactly, exactly. We did manage to win, but I do think that if he didn't have Sussex and Warren, he would have lost.
and
Because look, he
listen,
won Warren by 9,000. He won Sussex by 6,500, 6,000. That's 15,000 votes, and he only won by 13,000.
yeah,
So
those counties right there, Sussex and Warren, are 2-1. So
yeah,
even sometimes 3-1 for Republican to Democrat, and that's not how it is around the rest of the state. Like the only other one would be Salem and like Cape May, maybe Ocean, but yeah. So back to the first question, and I'll give my opinion real briefly. Do you think Rizzo would have won? I don't. Ah, he would have went harder than Tom Kane did. He would have been more public. So let me give the benefit of doubt to Rizzo. Would he have gotten thrashed as much? I don't think that they have enough dirt on him. I thought they had more dirt on Tom Kane actually. So I think Rizzo would have pulled through
I
just because
think
people would
Rizzo.
vote red.
I think Rizzo would have done better in Sussex and Warren. He would have also done better in Union as well. He had a very good presence in Union during his gubernatorial campaign. He would have done better in Union. He would have done better in Sussex. He would have done better in Warren. But when we talk about counties such as Somerset, which is Jack Chiarelli's home, Hunterdon, and Morris, I think that's where it would have been.
Oh yeah,
I think he would have had I think he would have had problems in those counties. Um, Maybe by like a few percentage points. And at the end of the day, I think it would have been closer. I think maybe it could have been closer. Really depends how bad it would have been. But
true. Hey man, I'll give it credit to you. You look into it real well and you lay it out, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. It probably would have been closer because of Morris. And I understand the counties, it's just you understand the
yeah,
voting. Like Morris and Hunterdon and Somerset, yeah, they're not going to vote for Rizzo. They they don't like him.
yeah, exactly. They don't like the right wing types. They like the Tom Kane types.
Right, 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 right. Cool.
Yeah, but that's CD7. Congratulations to Tom Kane Jr. We hit at him hard during the
I'll uh,
campaign,
I'll put
but
my application in to see if he hires me.
let's go. Let's make it happen. Oh, what the hell is this gerrymandered stuff? It's not even connected.
And I thought CD6 was gerrymandered. Why are all the Democrat strongholds this badly gerrymandered? Geesh. So that is a prodigy right there in the making. Robert Menendez Jr., the son of our Senator Bob Menendez.
Very, very huge victory.
Marcus Arroyo.
50 points. 50 points. And, I think he was the only one to actually expand the margins in 2020. Only Democrat to do that. And you know what? That's not a good sign for Republicans, you
I
know?
wonder what Hudson County Republican Jose Arango has to say for himself. Oh my God. 81,000 votes to Bob Menendez.
Nobody said he
Someone
went
get
to
that guy out.
60,000 in Hudson County.
Oh, 60,000 Hudson County. But that was 2020 down below, I see. Or no, it wasn't. It was something else.
That was the total number of votes.
Uh,
Look at that. No, he'll be happy for the 20,000 votes for Marcus Arroyo, you know.
yeah, right.
But
So that's a
Joanne
blowout.
Kunyansky was the Socialist Workers Party candidate. Not even 1,000 votes.
Yeah.
Um, those are big margins. Those are huge margins, and he really showed, those are huge margins, man. In the political world, winning by 50 or 58 points. Huh.
So here, scroll up real quick. And this is just for listeners. Cincinnatus, the one speaking just before, said that Joanne Kuniansky is the socialist candidate, even though it says independent there, which is fine. Socialist, meaning no problem calling themselves socialists. Actually, socialist. They will talk to you. They're openly socialist. Bob Menendez Jr. Okay, Democrat. Our Republicans, our conservatives, even America First people who don't get it will lie. Maybe they don't even know that they're doing it and say that Bob Menendez is a socialist and he's a communist and Bob Menendez Jr. too, socialist, communist. These guys are liberals. They're capitalist. They're rich. They're not socialists. And, a lot of people say, oh, all socialists are rich. No, they're capitalists. Joanne Kumiansky, she's a socialist, and she's only getting 1,000 votes. Socialism doesn't exist. It's not real. These people are a part of a machine, a big corporate machine. So just to get the definitions right. I know it's semantics, but for listeners.
Yes, exactly. Perfectly said. And you could even extend this to politicians in Congress. The big names as well, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, all of those people, you know, they're not they're not the socialists, they're not.
Proletariat. The working class proletariat. Right.
The working class proletariats, but they get $180,000 a year. Nice, nice,
Very nice.
very, very nice.
So,
But
so
yeah, Robert Menendez,
what can we
very nice.
expect of Bob Menendez? Do you think? Meaning not policy wise, meaning celebrity wise. Do you think he's gonna stay as a congressman for a while, or do you think he goes straight up governor, maybe, or senator, replacing his father?
I don't think that he will go for governor in 2025. We do have a Senate election this year. I mean, next time around, 2024,
Correct.
which his father will run for, that we've confirmed. In 2026, though, I believe Cory Booker is up, and there may be some challenges to Cory Booker, but I don't believe that Rob Menendez Jr. is going to run for it. I think the earliest time that Rob Menendez Jr. will run is 2029, will be the gubernatorial election. And if a Republican wins in 2025, Menendez Jr. will run in 2029. If a Democrat wins in 2025, depending on who the candidate is, he will not run. I don't think he will run because, incumbency matters.
Yeah, his choices, I know.
He's then going to run in 2030 to replace his father for US Senate. So that's me outlining his career right there. And then we can expect him to be in the US Senate and for one term, at least one term. And then 2036, that'll be a presidential election year. That's when he'll run for president of the United States. So in 14 years, hold my word. Okay.
Second research project we'll do, and I might edit this out, but he's first year elected congressman. Let's fricking track that guy's portfolio in the stock market because he's definitely doing the Nancy Pelosi stuff. I know
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
CD8. Okay. Damn, CD. So he's gonna be. That's crazy, dude. Like he's just got it easy. He just got the life. He just
Basically, he could just like,
probably didn't debate.
no, he just,
You know, just
he doesn't have to do anything. Look at this. This was,
ooh, look at that. I didn't even know it was that close. Billy Prempe. I supported him since 2020.
amazing guy, amazing guy. Only lost by 15,000 votes, which is pretty good, to be honest with you.
I think
Pretty
since
good.
that's so close, we can just blame that on the freaking NJGOP.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. This guy basically goes out and campaigns, man. Such a great, great candidate, hardworking. He's the type of guy that you would say he's a true congressman if he had won. True congressman because he gets out there and learns from the people.
Mm-hmm.
He talks to his constituents. He understands their problems. He knows how to have, that unifying language, not the language that they say that the Democrats have, but the language where, he doesn't see anyone, different. If you're a Democrat or a Republican, he looks at everyone like his people, like his constituents, and that he's going to represent them in Congress. That's what I like about Billy. He's straight to the point, and he's trying to reason with the people in his district about what's going wrong.
And even more than that, was this the closest margins of this district like in decades or something? It must be, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely not just a run of the mill candidate, you know.
He's a type of guy, and you know what? I think 2024, they got to keep an eye on this race. I know it's a presidential year, but he's the reason why a lot of these counties are like turning red.
Right. He's on the ground.
He is. That's the most important thing.
Bergen in 2020.48. That's funny.
Yeah, he only lost Bergen by half a point this time around. In 2020, the Trump lost it by 9. He lost Passaic County by 22 this time around. Lost it by 29 in 2020. Then he lost Hudson County by 17, which, to be honest with you, there's a recurring theme for Hudson, and that's the fact that Hudson County has been turning more blue recently. I don't know. Are they putting any new people up there in Hudson County? In Patterson, New Jersey. Got to make it happen.
Yeah, it was the we could probably end it with like the NJGOP and the NRCC, like you were saying before, not supporting him, giving him money. I know that the only, I think, funding that he had was from the Red Renaissance, Kim Klachik. I don't know if he got it this go around. He was having a great in tandem campaign with Teddy Daniels, and then that didn't fall. That fell through. Teddy Daniels' campaign. So Billy Prempe was really left on his own running the grassroots campaign. So that's what he did, and he got real close.
That is CD9. Bill Pascrell winning another 2-year term. I think he's done after this. I think he's
Yeah.
done because this is a tight race and he's done. I think he's going to retire. He's going to give another Democrat a shot in that district. So CD10, Donald Payne Jr. picking up a 57-point victory over David Pinkney.
Damn.
I think this is Rutgers Newark, not gonna lie.
Yeah, and they still say the same thing over and over to get the guy elected. They Newark itself has a commie as a mayor, so they got the lockdown, the Democratic machine.
Ooh, forgot about
The
Ross Baraka.
yeah,
He's gonna be a Senate guy.
he'll be running for assembly or senate, right? Something.
No, I'm talking about U.S. Senate.
Oh yeah, I hope not. Shit.
He's gonna go up against Cory Booker, the two Newark bald bros.
As the further leftist, I could see that easily because Booker Newark didn't like Booker because he wasn't from there. Ross Baraka might be from there. I'm not sure, and that'll definitely play a role. But yeah, Donald Payne Jr. got the victory.
Just shows how much power he has in that district, and GOP is not going to focus on that now, because there's nothing to focus on. You get your 25,000 votes and you go home. No crying, nothing. That's that. Future candidate for New Jersey governor, Mikey Sherrill. Mikey Sherrill versus
Yeah,
Paul DeGroot. Another high voting election. Um, Huge victory by Mikey Sherrill. Um, 17 points. People believe that Paul DeGroot would have probably put in a better shift, but he could not. He could not. And I think this district's going to stay like this because Mikey Sherrill is that liberal capitalist that we've always seen. She's like the Josh Gottheimer. She's like that. Yeah, she portrays herself like that. I think you have a few words to say about Mikey Sherrill, maybe even more than me.
in regards to her as a congressman or a politician, she's definitely not of the caliber of a Norcross or Steve Sweeney or even a Gottheimer. Gottheimer was at least the in the machine before. He was the speechwriter to the Clintons, and Michael Sherrill is someone who's actually intel. I think not CIA, but military intelligence, definitely federal intelligence, a part of a congressional caucus of military people, bipartisan to save America. Definitely globalist in that extent, probably the military industrial complex. And she's not a wine mom, she's not a soccer mom. She's a Fed. Let's put it that way. That's what she is. She's a Fed.
The
So
Joe Kent of New Jersey.
there you go. There you frickin' go. If Joe Kent was a Democrat, you're right. That right there is the Dan Crenshaw of New Jersey, the Joe Kent. You're right. Paul DeGroot, only thing I can say, because I saw his campaign, he tried.
He did.
But I saw him have like Chris Christie. I saw him have the Bushes. I saw him have like the Nikki Haley. He could have had better people that maybe would have got him more momentum. But what I think ultimately is he's got his name's not known. He's not a political figure. He hasn't been a leader. He's got to get involved.
Let me
But
tell you this.
yeah,
I
go ahead.
didn't vote. I didn't vote in the primary, in this primary. Um, I am from the district, but I did not vote in this primary because I was not satisfied with any of the candidates. Um, Nobody came to my town. Um, Nobody even showed an urge to even come to Passaic County, not even Paul DeGroot. Um, and it shows that there's this problem going around where they just wanted the Morris County votes. At the end of the day, Paul DeGroot won, the primary, but only due to Passaic County carrying him. Passaic County carried him. and he won the primary by a nice 30-point margin. And then he won the primary by a few points. Nobody wanted to come. And if you're not going to come and see your constituents, you're not going to get the votes that you need. In the general, I voted for the Groot, but it was more of an anti-Cheryl vote. And I know that there were a bunch of people that didn't want to vote the Groot because he didn't finish, he didn't come to them. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
come to their towns, didn't do this, didn't do that. You did see a lot of signs, saw a lot of signs all over the district, but almost
And
nothing.
and
Almost nothing.
even if they come through the town or something, they'll say, "Oh, I did go to the Passaic." Like, no, you literally have to spend your time there. You can't just be there once or twice through the whole
Exactly.
entire campaign. Yeah, I get you. I
House to
feel you.
house, house to house, gotta go house to house.
Right.
Billy can do it, you can do it. But just looking at the margins and how everything was done, Cheryl, she just continued her margin Essex, and things relatively stayed the same in Morrison, Essex, and Morrison, Passaic County. Um, Listen, this is one of those districts that there's no chance for the Republicans to ever win. It's always going to be like, it's always going to be that liberal capitalist winning, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. It's going to be a liberal capitalist winning. That's it. No pro-Trumper is going to win. Um, but who knows? Who knows? I remember Toby Anderson ran. Um, he was this he was this America First guy. He said he was America First. Who knows how he would have done? But I don't think he would have done worse than the Grooves. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and that's fine. We're ending on that one. And well, and I mean ending 11 there, but for fucking Paul DeGroot, like, and a bunch of candidates that are like him, that just didn't win, didn't pull through when the Democrats got so much. Like, if I was running, I would be putting out a call for anybody that has anything on these people. Like, I want to work with you. Like, help me help you, sort of thing. Like, I have so much stuff on Mikey Sherrill, and I contacted Polygraph too, but like they don't use it, and I don't understand why. Like, do they think that they don't want to run a dirty campaign? It's just like, what? Like, these people aren't good people. Like, you run a dirty campaign because it's not dirty. They're bad people.
Well, we've seen it. They're all part of the same group. They're all establishments, and they respect each other for that. They won't hurt each other.
Exactly.
They won't hurt
Exactly.
each other.
You're right. You're right. You're
You
right.
know,
Isn't it ironic that like Republicans in the primary will sling mud and hurt each other
exactly.
hard, but like in the general,
Nope, nothing.
certain Republicans, and Democrats get along. That is interesting.
No, like
Campaign, he didn't get any money. He's not getting any money. He did get people from the Young Americans for Liberty. He got libertarians to help him, and got people to do door knocking. Was doing grassroots stuff. I liked it. I liked what I saw. What I liked even more, and I think the independent candidate in this race was a elected official or elected member of the Libertarian Party. And it's a nice woman, actually. I know her. And that means that there's libertarians that are in this district. I think it's actually the Central Libertarian Party. They are actually active on social media. They make a ruckus. They should be helping Darius. They should be helping Darius, the Republican candidate, because in a sense, he's a libertarian just like them. The way he acts, his policy, they can probably negotiate and debate on policy. But for instance, and I'll end it here, Darius
mhm.
Mayfield did not get a debate from Bonnie Watson Coleman. He instead went and debated Sean King, the freaking white guy who pretends he's black, and on a panel of two other people. and he's the real deal. He's just like Billy, like that. I've never really even listened to the podcast that Darius Mayfield does, but I did listen to that one debate that he had with Sean King, and Darius Mayfield's it would be a fine representative, but policy wise, I would definitely coach him.
Yeah, I wonder how he has run his campaign.
He
To
went
be
to
honest
the
with you,
border. He went to the border, and then he made a video about it. That's one. It's good. It's a good
he's
thing.
one of the only he's one of the only congressional candidates that has done that, in my
Right.
opinion. Especially
Uh,
someone that isn't even on the border.
People don't even know that. I don't even think.
If it was Jack Ciattarelli, maybe he would go on the border of Pennsylvania, and be declaring war on the Pennsylvanians. Like you'll see me bringing this up many times, but
I
it
gotta
is a
find that
funny
clip.
joke that I'll
I
never
gotta find
forget.
that clip.
Yeah. But listen, he's not a bad candidate. At the end of the day, he got within 20. I think he could get, within 15. Maybe he could get to that 10-point margin that Billy had as well. Because look, this isn't a totally out of reach district. Maybe if Mercer County, maybe if they, clean stuff up with their machines. I'm not saying anything. I think machines always have problems. You know, if they fix up their machines, people left out of line because of that. I think it'll help him at the end of the day to you know do a better job and to get to that 40% margin in District 12.
For anyone listening, Darius Mayfield, I don't even think he had a primary challenger. So as I said, Lynn Gingrich, a wonderful woman, libertarians, they will they will slander and libel Darius Mayfield just because he supports Black Lives Matter, but he really doesn't support Black Lives Matter. That whole bit. And they could have primaried him, but they didn't. Same thing with Billy Prempe. They have a libertarian candidate that ran in CD9 against Billy, and they talk all these terrible things about Billy and how he's not really America first and libertarians. And you could have primaried him, and they chose not to. So these people aren't serious. But that was our 2022 congressional results, huh?